pupils, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you for our social studies lesson. We are going to discuss about political development and systems. This is our topic in class 8. But before I just do that, I wish to remind you on what you are supposed to do in order to assist in curbing the spread of this deadly virus, that is corona. But kindly remain at home. But if you are forced by circumstances to leave your home, then always put on your mask. Avoid shaking people's hands or hugging people. Maintain social distance. Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth using your hands, because we are told that this virus settles on different surfaces. And if it happens that you touch a surface that was contaminated, so you realize that by touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth, you are likely to infect yourself with this deadly virus. Something else you are supposed to do is that wash your hands regularly using water and soap. And if you have the sanitizers, the better. Above all, let us continue praying to our God, because I know that all answers lie to Him. And I know He's going to see us through in this. Having said that, let me now go to the topic of the day, whereby we are going to discuss about political development and systems in Kenya. And we are going to look at political associations in Kenya up to 1939. Now, when I mention 1939, this is when the Second World War started here in the world. This is when the Second World War started in the whole world. That is 1939. Now, the early political association in Kenya started as early as 1920. When we talk about 1920, this is when Kenya was officially colonized. That is 1920. This is after Kenya was declared a British protectorate. This is when Kenya was declared a British colony. This is when Kenya was declared a British colony. That is 1920. Now, the association were based on tribal lines. They were formed along tribal lines. The political associations were against the harsh colonial policies and administration. Now, my dear pupils, let me mention some of these associations that were started in Kenya, that is as early as 1920. One, we had what we call Kikuyu Association, in short, KA, Kikuyu Association. This association started in 1920, and the leader was Chief Koinange. Let me mention another association that was ever started in Kenya. We have the Young Kavirondo Association, in short YKA, which started in 1921. And the leaders were Ezekiel Apindi, Jonathan Okwiri, Simeon Nyende. We have also the Young Kikuyu Association, YKA, which was established in 1921, and the leader was Harry Tuku. We also had the East African Association, EAA, which was established in 1922, and the founder was Harry Tuku. We also have what we call Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association, in short KITWA, KTWA, which was established in 1923 by Archdeacon Walter Owen. We also had the Kikuyu Central Association, KCA, which was established in 1924 by Joseph Kang'ethe, Jesse Kariuki, James Buta. Those were the founders of KCA, that is Kikuyu Central Association. We also had the Ukambani Members Association, UMA, which was established in 1932, and it was founded by Muindi Mbingu. We also had the Taita Hills Association, TAA, which was established in 1939 by Mwangeka wa Maloa. So that was the founder of Taita Hills Association, in short, TAA. Now, let me now talk about the East African Association, EAA, in details. Now, EAA, as I've said, or as I've mentioned, it was established by Harry Tuku in July 1922. The aim was to unite all African communities to fight for the lost independence. The EAA founder members include Harry Thuku, their chairman, Joseph Kang'ethe, Zedike Sendengo, Mona Keti Ole Sambe, IEM Isimai, Jesse Kariuki, Johnson Kamau, Kibwana Bin Kombo, Georgie Okothi. Let me talk about the demand of East African Association, EAA. 1, independence for Kenya. 2, return of African lands. 3, abolition of taxes. 4, wage increase for Africans. 5, provision of more education opportunities for Africans. 6, equal representation in the Legico. And we talk about Legico, my dear people, we are talking about the parliament. And the short form, Legico is the short form of Legislative Council. Then 7, abolition of forced labor subjected to Africans. 8, abolition of Kipande system. And you know, Kipande system was meant to curtail Africans from running away from providing cheap labor for, on the European farms in the rural areas. Then 9, abolition of compulsory cattle culling among the Africans. Now, the popularity of this association led to the arrest of its founder, that is Harry Thuku, who was arrested, that is in 1922, and deported to Kismayu in Somalia. Now, let me talk about another early association, that is Young Kikuyu Association, in short, YKA. Now, YKA, that is Kikuyu, Young Kikuyu Association, was formed in June 1921. And it was founded by Harry Thuku. Let me talk about the demands of Young Kikuyu Association, YKA. 1, withdrawal of Kipande system. 2, better working conditions for African workers. 3, high wages among the Africans. 4, reduction of taxes paid by Africans. So these were the demands of Young Kikuyu Association, in short, YKA. Now, Young Kikuyu Association led to the formation of East African Association in 1922. So that is to say that a Young Kikuyu Association gave birth to East African Association in 1922. Let me now talk about another very important association again. This is a Kikuyu Central Association, that is KCA. Now, KCA was formed in 1924, and it was founded by Joseph Kang'ethe and Jesse Kariuki. Other leaders of KCA were Kikuyu Central Association leaders, James Gichuru, Johnston Kamau, James Buta, John Budia, Henry Mangi, Henry Kiru. Now, my dear pupils, now allow me to talk about the demands of KCA, that is Kikuyu Central Association. 1, return of African lands. 2, representation of Africans in the Legico. And I told you the Legico was the parliament, and it was the short form of the word Legislative Council. 3, release of Harry Thuku, who was arrested and deported to Kismayu, that is in Somalia. 4, improved wages for Africans, improved working conditions for Africans, abolition of discrimination against the Africans, abolition of Kipande system, end of forced labor among the Africans on settler farms. Agikuyus to be allowed to grow cash crops, such as coffee. Another demand was the respect of African culture and traditions, such as female circumcision. Another demand of KCA was reduced working hours for the Africans. And lastly, provision of quality education to the Africans. Let me now talk about Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association, KTWA, Kitwa. Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association, Jonathan Okwere, Chairman, Benjamin Gumba, Secretary, Simeon Nyende, Treasurer, Ezekiel Apindi, Joel Omino, Joji Okodi, Jolme Okaka, Ruben Omlo, Kavirondo Taxpayers Association. Now, allow me to talk about the demands of Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association. 1, abolition of Kipande system. 2, better education for Africans. 3, better wages for Africans laborers. 4, reduction of hard tax. Remember, there was a tax that was imposed on Africans. Any house, each house that an African built, he was supposed to pay tax for that. Another demand was, that is the 5th one, abolition of laws that discriminated against Africans. 6, abolition of forced labor. So those were the demands of Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association. Now, in 1923, Archdeacon Walter Owen, a missionary stationed at Maseno, changed the name, the association's name to Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association from Young Kavirondo Association. And I want you, my dear peoples, to get this clear, that Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association started as a Young Kavirondo Association in 1922, but changed its name to Kavirondo Taxpayers Welfare Association, KTWA, in 1923 by Archdeacon Walter Owen. Now, my dear peoples, now allow me to talk about reasons for the formation of early political associations in Kenya. 1, these associations were established to regain lost independence for the Africans. 2, demand for the return of African lands. 3, resist against forced labor on the Africans. 4thly, demand for abolition of Kipande system. 5th, we had react against European interference in African culture and traditions. 6th, fight for better working conditions for Africans. 7, react against harassment of Africans by colonial government. 8, fight against racial discrimination against the Africans. 9, demand for increment of wages. 10, demand for African political representation in the Legico. Remember, the Legico, I said this is a legislative council and this was the parliament. Now, let me talk about the role played by early political associations in the struggle for our independence in Kenya. 1, that they provided political education to Africans through political rallies. 2, they played the role of trade union and fought for the welfare of workers. Thirdly, they communicated Africans' grievances to the colonial government. They also publicized the grievances of Africans to the international communities. They also promoted inter-community relations in the struggle for independence. And they also fought for equal representation of Africans in the Legico. My dear peoples, that is the end of our lesson today, whereby we have discussed about early political associations in Kenya that is 1939. I would like to urge you that you can replay this video as many times as you can in order to acquaint yourself with facts about these early political associations. I'll also urge you that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Peter Namasaka, and remember to press bell